Okay, listen, welcome back to Weekly Recap. I'm not gonna lie, as some of you may have noticed, Weekly Recap has kind of gotten away from me a little bit, but we're back, we're good. With a couple of updates on some of the more recent stories I've talked about in the past 2-ish weeks. We have more to add to the Illuminaughtii situation, more on Supermega, also throwing in a couple exclusive stories in there since there's so much going on I couldn't cover them in like individual videos. I'm gonna try to keep you guys as up to date as possible with this new stuff. Plus, today we got a couple guest appearances.
Gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly.
So, Supermega has been in some really bad drama recently, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a huge mess. There's a lot of controversy around it, and there's a lot of gray area in the situation as a whole. So, basically, multiple individuals came out with claims against the channel. Lex came out with claims about a certain kind of assault. Again, I will let you read in between the lines here. An individual named Dawn DDRR allegedly forced her to have oral sex while at Matt's house. She claims that Ryan and Matt knew about this and basically did nothing and panicked because of what it could have meant for their brand. Layton came out with claims that one of the main members of Supermega flashed him his birthday suit on his first day, as well as claims that Ryan was texting fans inappropriately.
Matt yells from the office in the back room that he's going, that he might as well show me his fucking balls because I'm gonna see it anyways. So he goes, "Hey, Layton," and I turn around and sure, like I didn't, you know what I mean? Like I just think it's a bit. But I turn around, but the dude's fucking balls are out. That not only does Ryan misgender this person, but he also is, he's also s***ing fans.
Another individual named Magpie came out and said that Matt led her on and used her to cheat on his girlfriend.
He led me on severely, and he basically used me for my body and then ghosted me.
Ryan and Matt both came out with apology videos along with a ton of evidence disproving a lot of the allegations, specifically from Layton, and it looked like Magpie, or at least very exaggerated.
I was very surprised to hear what Morgan had to say on stream, considering last month in June we had a very pleasant conversation where we tied up any loose ends and smoothed everything out, and I'm going to share that conversation. Morgan reached out to me on June 8th and said, "Hey man, hope you're doing well." I said, "Hey, I've been doing okay. Been really busy and stressed, but I'm pushing through. How have you been?" Layton himself actually suggested leaving Supermega prior to being terminated. So when he stated on stream that we were looking for any reason to fire him, this simply isn't true. And told him that he could dictate the narrative of his departure, that we would not tell people he was fired, and that we would always be here for him in any way that he might need. He signed the severance agreement, stormed out, and immediately blocked us on everything.
But Ryan did admit to having inappropriate texts with fans.
The fact that I had inappropriate communications with fans while in a long-term committed relationship. While technically these actions are between two consenting adults, it truly is pathetic and there's no excuse for it.
They both owned up to not treating the situation with Lex seriously. If you want a more in-depth recap on the situation, I'll link my video here from a couple days ago. Anyways, moving on.
Okay, so XQC, the Kick/Twitch streamer that signed a massive deal to stream on Kick, is now under fire for stealing content. The discussion around this all started when Bub Games, a popular gaming YouTuber, made a joke on Twitter, saying Lamino spends months researching, scripting, and editing a video just for his streamers to re-upload the entire thing and provide zero input. Mudahar, or Some Ordinary Gamers, quote-tweeted Bub Games saying, "Just a shame garbage like this fills the recommended tab." XQC responded to him saying, "I wonder what triggers people like you so much. Revenue share? Audience split? Algorithm?" I've heard this complaint a million times, and most public figures try to attack it from multiple angles just to fall flat on their faces. I'm watching a video I liked my people. That's it. This started a massive argument on Twitter. Paragraphs were written, videos were made, and streams were had. Ethan Klein had an absolutely based take.
Fuck you, XQC, you thief bitch.
XQC, in true XQC fashion, chose to react to this stream. This time, though, XQC had some truly intellectual takes, which I'll show you right now.
If you ever see a video like that on YouTube, it is most likely from a fan channel that took a straight VOD rip and posted it on YouTube and is monetizing it themselves. It's not touching me in any capacity. And
can I be honest with you?
What?
There will be a time, in my opinion, where there'll be some legal hammer that will come down on streamers, and there will be a time.
Chat. There will be a time where people don't even use cars anymore, dude. There used to be times where people were gonna start flying. Chat. There's a time, chat. Chat. There's a time, chat, where people are gonna be teleporting, dude.
Like I said, this did start a massive discussion about React content and fair use in general. Neo Explains, a YouTuber with nearly 1.5 million subscribers, posted a video on Twitter showing XQC leaving the room for 10 minutes with his video playing in the background of his stream. And when he returns to the stream, he tries to play it off as a joke.
Of individual buildings have merged into allowed various work.
Do not post this to YouTube for the lack of react. For the lack of react. Boom! Metal pipes, cement, football, goal at the back. Wait a minute, chat. Hold up. I think this is a very rare copper alloy right there, chat.
But what do I think about all of this? Well, my opinion is kind of mixed. On one hand, reaction content can be used to shout out smaller creators, grow their channels, and give them deserved recognition. But on the other hand, if you've already watched someone's live stream reacting to that content, you're not exactly going to rewatch that video on the original creator's channel. Especially when XQC, for example, reacted to Lemino's video about 12 hours after it came out. Not even a full day. Internet Anarchist actually did a really good pseudo-experiment with this. He agreed to let XQC react to one of his videos given some specific rules that I'll flash on screen now, and it shows that when XQC uploaded his reaction onto YouTube, the views for Internet Anarchist videos dropped. Whether that's the algorithm stopped pushing his and started pushing XQC's, or something in between, I don't know. This is one experiment done by one person for one video, so I'm not sure if this could represent the entirety of React content and how it affects other people's videos, but I definitely feel like it's important and I should note it. I think a good middle ground for creators is reacting to older content. You won't be stealing views, you probably won't be stealing the algorithm from that creator, and obviously you should take down people who are ripping your VODs and posting them unedited to YouTube. This of course is only applicable if you're unable to ask for permission to react to the content for whatever reason. I feel like this is a dangerous wasp nest to poke, because if Twitch or YouTube decides to change their policy on React content, it's likely going to be an overcorrection. It definitely is an important discussion to have, but I'm just worried about the potential downsides a discussion like this could eventually entail.
Okay, so I wanted to cover this on Weekly Recap, not only because there was a part of the story that I missed, which I apologize for, but I wanted to cover it without milking it per se. We got some old and some new stuff. A little over a week ago, Cruel World Happy Mind released a video talking about her story with Blair. She explains the Illuminaughtii essentially copied her content, or at the very least, it was very, very similar. And so she sent her a text, which Blair ignored. In the meantime, Madison, Cruel World Happy Mind, got pregnant, which was a very difficult pregnancy for her, and that's when Blair decided to start going after her. Basically, these passive-aggressive tweets, as well as going on this podcast, like, trying to go after her.
I'm gonna try and keep it vague so I don't mention this person's channel, but it's a very small YouTuber. She messages me and she goes, "I'm just really disappointed because you're someone I look up to and you copied my video and I want credit."
Which, if you remember from my original DM, in that DM, I never once asked for credit.
So Madison responds, and this pisses off Blair. So Blair reaches out in DMs, trying to hold over her head that she's gonna make several, like, expose live streams on her, unless they find some common ground. Eventually, they talk it out, but Blair exhibited some really creepy behavior throughout this, noting that she was able to find Madison's location based off of her Instagram, like where she lived. This eventually led to her essentially doxing the town that she lived in. Take that as you will. Now, for the newer stuff, this came out at the same time as the last one, but it kind of flew under the radar for me personally, and I apologize. But I wanted to cover it here instead of another video, you know what I mean? Because it's equally as important, but it slipped by me, so I don't want to milk it. It's this weird little back and forth. This is Savannah Marie, another anti-MLM creator who's also had experiences with Blair, which she talks about in a call with Madison. She explains that while working on a project, trying to expose an MLM for selling, like, straight dirt as some, like, miracle cure called Black Oxygen Organics, Blair's writer got wind of this and requested to join their researching group chat here, which they were denied because of the past issues with Cruel World Happy Mind. They ended up finding a way around this and asking another mod that wasn't in the know of the situation who let them in. And it's heavily implied that they stole a whole bunch of research on this topic and used it to produce their own video on this topic. Blair again copies one of Savannah's videos 6 weeks later on some topic about an olive tree MLM. Savannah discovered it like it was this niche thing, and Blair just so happened to stumble upon it or make it, you know, come out with a video a couple weeks later. I also want to point out, like, deep cut here, this is my own personal observation, but way back, even at the Legal Eagle stuff coming out, again, she is exposed for stuff like this. In fact, literally rereading the transcript from this part of a documentary.
Hugh Freudenberg.
Professor Freudenberg has long been controversial.
A man named Hugh Freudenberg, a former immunologist who has been long controversial.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit involving the Food and Drug Administration.
In 1989, he was caught up in a bizarre lawsuit with the Food and Drug Administration, which...
Anyways, moving on.
Hey guys, Phoenix Ace here, and today I am doing something for CB2. YouTuber SkyDoesMinecraft has returned after a dicey past in relation to harassment, among other things. After 2.5-ish years focusing on my mental health, taking in what everyone said and thinks, and trying to process, I just want to say I'm sorry anyone ever felt so negatively of me. I make mistakes, but only ever tried to be a good person. I know it's no toxic gossip train or delicious twitlonger, but it's enough characters to establish everything that has been processed and taken in from my end. This statement comes after being dormant for months on Twitter and on the internet in general, and he just goes back to pretending like nothing ever happened, and he literally starts tweeting about Fortnite and Mario Wonder. He does seem like he's on this spiritual, like, journey and also like doing art. It's mind-boggling because he just seems to just be ignoring it, and unfortunately that's a very valid strategy nowadays when you've been faced with such insane allegations, is just to ignore it and not really apologize and just keep going on like nothing happened, and unfortunately it works.
Okay, I'm gonna interject here a little bit, but Guy has apparently joined Storyfire. Their little announcement post says that after 3 long years, we're thrilled to see one of the biggest creators in Storyfire return to the scene. Dude. What scene? There is no scene. One of their biggest videos under their trending tab has 69 views. Anyways, that's about it for this weekly recap. I plan on doing these every weekend or so, give or take a few days. So be sure to have your notifications on for that. And if you haven't already, like the video for me. Thank you so much to Morale and Phoenix Ace for hopping on this week's weekly recap. I'll have them both tagged in the description. Anyways, I'm out. Thank you to channel members Sergeant Frost, Lucian, Phoenix Ace, AoE, J. Marie, Gappered Lax, and Shadow Overflow AI.